But, so, on one hand, but there's positive experiences too, don't get me wrong. I learned how to withstand Indian food very quickly because when I converted, it was like a month before Ramadan. So when in Ramadan, you when you're fasting, you have iftar, you have to eat what's in front of you. You can't like to be like, okay, can we order McDonald's or something? No. So you're at the masjid and they give you the food. So it's my first time eating spicy Indian food. And I'm hungry. So I really have no choice. So I learned how to get used to it very quickly. So that was a blessing. But I remember my experience in a more serious manner. I remember my experience 3 years I was in the United States as a convert. I lost my job. I lost every friend I had. And I was homeless for about a year. And I remember a lot of events that occurred that were very difficult for me. Just to give you kind of an understanding of what happens there. You can't pray in public. You can, but you can't. It's legal, but you better not. People throw things at you. People try to hurt you. Sometimes you have to find a dressing room to pray so nobody sees what you're doing. There's no halal food anywhere. So if you're going to convert, you're going to have to either become a vegetarian or eat fish. Okay? The nearest masjid might be about 45 minutes away. So going to Jummah is not exactly easy. Every day in the news you hear about how Muslims are bad and they're trying to take over the world, which I'm okay with. I'm fine. I want to take over the world. But I'm perfectly okay with that. But being terrorists and things like this, people give you dirty looks all the time. When you're at the airport, you should expect to get pulled to the side and spoken to for a while about where you're going and why. It's not always extreme like that. There's some good people too, but it's getting worse. So when I decided to make hijrah to Malaysia, it was for my education, but also for the sake of the fact that I just didn't want to live in the United States anymore. It was very difficult. And sometimes I think to myself, am I being a coward? Because my mentor is actually Noman Ali Khan. He's the one who sent me to university. And we were very close to each other for a while. And I remember him, he's still there, so I feel like, did I make the right decision? He's still there, he's giving dawah, and yet I'm over here. Not to say Malaysia's bad. I'm just saying that, why did I... But, so I don't know if I should go back, but...
Not until tomorrow.
Not until tomorrow, that's true. No, so. But, it's not easy. And, but Muslims, sometimes they have good experiences too. It depends on where you are. I happen to live in a very volatile, very hostile area, so it wasn't easy. And every day, like I said, you hear about how evil you are, and it's a difficult situation to be in. So when I came to Malaysia I remember the first thing I did actually. When I came to the airport, I saw the Burger King. 3 years I didn't have burger. Okay, I went there. I had a Whopper. It was the happiest moment of my life after my conversion. Okay, I finally had a halal burger.
How many?
3 years.
No, how many were there? Don't tell, it's okay.
Okay, I actually remember. So a Whopper and a Whopper Junior, but that's fine. And I remember being able to pray anywhere I wanted to. That was awesome. I didn't have to worry about anybody hurting me. That was great. I remember being able to go to any mosque. I remember, there's a lot of things, the positive things that Malaysia has done in my life. And being able to study Islam, that was a big deal for me. So even though I didn't study traditional, I studied like Islamic philosophy and things, but even that was still something that I value to this day. And I always thank Malaysia for, regardless of my criticisms of politics and other things like this. But I always thank the people, and I always thank the institutions, and I always thank the fact that they gave me a place to come when I had nowhere else to go. And I thank Malaysia for being here. Because there's a lot of us in the United States and elsewhere in the Western world that don't have it that easy. And I can tell you right now, if you go to the United States or Europe, you might have some good experiences. I'm not saying everyone's bad, but you have it here so easy. You have no idea. Maybe some of you do. But it's not easy for a lot of us. So it's not just an intellectual move when you convert. It's also a whole lifestyle change. And that can also include the complete rejection by your community. So, in any regard, I'm now here, and inshallah, I hope that one day I can return to the United States when it's less hostile. And I guess maybe one more thing I'll tell you. I should have mentioned it earlier, but I remember when 9/11 happened. I was sitting in, was it my freshman class in high school? It was a long time ago. And I remember the TV came on, and my principal, he was over the loudspeaker. He was like that, He's like, attention students, please be seated. He said, the United States is under attack. I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. This couldn't be happening. I turned on the TV. The moment we turned on the TV in the classroom, we saw the second plane hit. And we saw the people jumping out of the buildings to their deaths. It was a very traumatic experience. And so you're probably wondering after seeing that, why did I even bother with Islam? Why did I even try? The thing is, I think the best way to explain it, and I mentioned it kind of earlier before, is that we had to meet a Muslim, to get rid of the prejudice, to get rid of that hatred. We need to meet a Muslim. And I think the best form of da'wah, to be honest with you, is not this. The best form of da'wah is to have good manners, good etiquettes, to show people what it really is like to be a Muslim. Because had that not been the case, even though my friend was Shia, if he wouldn't have been kind, and if he would have just been like, you're a kafir, I'm not going to talk to you, then I would have never bothered to go to his masjid. And I would never convert, I would never be here. So, that's all I want to say on a personal note. So let's get back to the brain drain. All right, is everyone ready for this? Are we okay now? I didn't make you sad, did I? I feel really bad if I did. So, okay, so the primary atheist arguments. We discussed this in session 1, and I wanted to talk about them again because I want to offer you the refutations for these. So the primary atheist arguments. The first one is the argument for anti-theism, and if you've, can you put the full argument, please? Can you put the full one? Yeah, just put the whole, there we go, okay. So, as we remember, any belief that teaches false views about the natural world and ethics should be opposed. Theistic religions teach false views about the natural world and ethics, therefore theistic religion should be opposed. Now, whenever an atheist offers you this argument, the first thing you do is you must oppose premise 2 by simply asking a question. And this is a very simple question. You say, you believe that theistic religions teach false views about the natural world and ethics. Can you please prove to me that's the case? Okay. And then you will understand where the argument is going to go from there. Now, usually an atheist will respond by suggesting that the Quran, for instance, teaches about things like flat earth, or about the fact that, or it teaches about other physical phenomena that are not true, okay? And that can be countered in one way, and then ethics. But let's get to the first one. So I told you I was going to discuss the Quran and science. Okay. After understanding the nature of science, I'm going to ask you a question now. I know some of you are tired, but I'm going to ask you a question. After understanding what science actually is, that it's not absolute fact, that it changes over time, that it's based on theory construction,